Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Design Review Committee meeting to order for Wednesday, January 24th. Excuse me, I'm mixing up all the numbers today. January 14th, 2026. We will begin our morning with roll call.
Good morning. Committee Member Sievertson.
Here.
Committee Member Browning.
Here.
Committee Member Banducci.
Here.
Committee Member Cameron.
Here.
And Committee Member Ellsworth is not with us.
Okay. Takes us to item B, oath of office. That is for myself.
Yeah, so I'll read it to you.
Okay, thank you.
After I say I, you could say your name, and then I'll read it to you, and then at the end you can say I do, I agree, or whatever. Okay, so I
Cassidy Banducci.
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Eureka, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter in the capacity of committee member for the Design Review Committee of the City of Eureka.
I do. Thank you.
Great.
All right. That takes us to item C, election of officers. We have chair and vice chair this morning. I don't know if there's any nominations.
I'd like to nominate Cassidy for chair.
Thank you, Gailey.
We want to do the vice chair at the same time, so you guys only have to vote once.
Depends on if somebody wants to make it a vice. Let's just do them separately. Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you both. All right. We have a motion and a second, and the committee will vote.
Committee Member Sievertson.
Aye.
Committee Member Browning.
Aye.
Committee Member Cameron.
Aye.
And Chairwoman Banducci.
I accept. Thank you.
Motion carries.
All right. We have election of officers for vice chair this morning. Any recommendations or? Gailey, you want to be vice chair again? Sure. Okay. I will nominate Gailey to continue as vice chair.
I'll second.
All right. Sorry. Committee has a motion and a second, and we will vote.
Committee Member Sievertson.
Aye.
Committee Member Browning.
Yes, thank you.
Committee Member Cameron.
Aye.
And Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to item D, approval of the minutes. These are from November 26th, 2025. Has everyone had an opportunity to review? And if there's no changes, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Committee will vote on the November 26th meeting minutes.
Committee Member Sievertson.
I abstain.
Committee Member Browning.
Aye.
Committee Member Cameron.
Aye.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E today, no public hearings that are continued. So that takes us to item F, which is a new public hearing. And this is for the Wiyot Family Housing Development located on the corner of 5th and D Street. This is design review application DR-25-6 and a density bonus DB-25-2. The recommendation today is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution conditionally approving the project. And we'll let city staff run us through the report.
Great, thank you. Today, Assistant Planner Taylor Rayburn will be presenting to you. If you haven't met them yet, they've been with the Planning Department a little over 6 months, and we're happy to have them.
Good morning, members of the Design Review. Good morning, members of the Design Review Committee. I'm Taylor Rayburn, Assistant Planner with the City, and I'm here to present the proposed Guwik Kudak, where the families are Wiyot housing development for your consideration. This project requires design review and a density bonus law incentive concession.
She'll have to press the screen once and then it'll work. Here, let me try.
There we go. Okay. Here's the, there we go. Here's the project location in the city marked by a gold star. The proposed development is located at the city-owned parking lot at 5th and D Streets. The parking lot is located in the Downtown West zoning district where the proposed use, multifamily housing, is principally permitted. The site is 13,200 square feet in size, or almost a third of an acre. It fronts 5th Street to the south and D Street to the east. On July 18th, 2023, in December 2019, City Council adopted the 2019 to 2027 housing element, which identified several city-owned parking lots as potential housing sites to help meet the city's regional housing needs allocation, also known as RHNA, established by the California Department of Housing and Community Development, also known as HCD. On April 4th, 2023, City Council approved an RFP, request for a proposal package for the 5th and D and 6th and L parking lots, seeking developers to create affordable housing on those parcels. On July 18th, 2023, the City Council declared the Wiyot Tribe and Dishkama Humboldt Community Land Trust as the preferred proposer. At that time, Council also adopted a resolution finding redevelopment of both the parking lots into affordable housing was exempt from CEQA under the Affordable Housing and Residential Infill Project exemptions. The details of those CEQA exemptions are included in the staff report. In March 2025, the city and Wiyot Tribe and Dishkama Humboldt CLT entered into a DDA, a disposition and development agreement for development of the two parking lot parcels. Then the Wiyot Tribe, Travoy, and the city hosted a public meeting on March 26th to inform the community of both proposed housing developments and seek input and answer questions. In May of 2025, the project went through the city's pre-application development review process, where preliminary plans were submitted for city review, and then the development became fully funded in July 2025. The development will be a 6-story, 61,944 square foot mixed use. What? Did I grab 2 pages? No, I got this. Yes. Sorry. Based on the Sanborn Fire Insurance maps, which were published sporadically, this parcel held 2 dwelling units and accessory structures prior to 1955. There we go. Sometime between 1955 and 1968, the site was redeveloped into a parking lot using funds from the city's Parking Assessment District, a city project that set aside funds for the development of several city-owned parking lots across Eureka. And in 2023, the parking lot was removed from the city's Parking Assessment District by the City Council following a noticed public hearing. The development will be a 6-story, 61,944 square foot mixed-use multifamily housing building. There will be 41 units consisting of 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom apartments. All of the units will be deed-restricted lower income units, except for the manager's unit. Other amenities include a community room, communal laundry facilities, a 4,081 square foot commercial childcare facility with an associated courtyard playground, and a 6th floor community terrace not shown here. There are also 6 covered vehicle parking spaces accessed by the alley, as well as a long-term bicycle storage room for up to 36 vertical bicycle parking spots. The project also includes perimeter landscaping, a waste enclosure room accessed via the alley, and other associated site improvements, including signage that will be applied for at a later date. Due to the deed-restricted affordability of the housing sites, state density bonus law entitles a development up to 5 incentive concessions to deviate from city development and design standards. The applicant is requesting 1 concession incentive. They request to deviate from the city's ground floor transparency requirement for non-residential uses in pedestrian-focused frontage areas, aka PFFs. Fifth Street is a PFF area, or this part of Fifth Street is a PFF area. This standard applies here because the ground floor includes non-residential uses, including the childcare facility and common areas. As the proposed development does not meet the 65% minimum transparency requirement, a concession incentive is requested because full compliance would conflict with childcare safety, privacy, and operational needs and create additional design constraints and costs. Under state law, the city must improve the concession unless there is substantial evidence to deny it, and no such evidence exists in this case. On to design review. The proposed development requires design review approval because it is a new building over 500 square feet in a mixed-use zoning district. As a reminder, design review is limited to evaluating the street-facing aesthetic aspects of the development based on the 7 design review criteria. And the committee cannot require changes to features that comply with zoning standards. City standards dictate that each street-facing facade of the development must include at least 2 of a list of 15 architectural features specified in Eureka Municipal Code, Section 155.312.050. On the 5th Street facade facing south, we have roof form variation for 100% of the facade exceeding the minimum standard of 40%. Next, we have balconies, where 34% of the length of the facade has balconies exceeding the standard of 20%. The third feature is horizontal articulation, where the standard is at least 25% of the linear length of the facade. It has a projection, or 25% of the linear length of the facade has a projection or recess of at least 1 foot deep. Portions of the 2nd through 5th floors are stepped back 6 feet to accommodate the balconies, and the entire right side of the facade protrudes from the rest of the wall, together making up 70% of the linear length of the facade. On the D Street facade facing east, we have roof form variation for 100% of the facade. Balconies with 21% of the length occupied by balconies. The east side also qualifies for the cantilevered upper story architectural standard. From the 2nd floor upward, the building overhangs the 1st floor by 5 feet, accommodating planting beds for landscaping. The project meets the standards for exterior materials specified in Eureka Municipal Code, Section 155.312.030. Fiber cement siding of varying widths and orientation make up the upper floors of the building, helping break up the mass and providing visual interest. The ground floor features exposed concrete, river rock stone veneer, and minimal stucco borders, emphasizing the foundation of the building. A preliminary landscape plan was submitted that did not include all required components such as plant types and counts and maintenance and irrigation. So conformance with all of the landscaping standards is included as a condition of approval and will be addressed during the building permit phase. However, The applicant has stated native and culturally important plants will be selected by the tribal biologist. The required findings to approve design review are that the proposed development will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare, and the proposed development complies with all 7 design review criteria related to surrounding context, pedestrian environment, architectural style, articulation and visual interests, materials, safety, and landscaping. As previously stated, City Council already found the project exempt from CEQA under the Affordable Housing Section 15194 and Residential Infill Section 15195 exemptions by adopting Resolution 2023-39. City policies and standards are carried forward as conditions of approval to implement the exemption. The notice of exemption was filed July 19th, 2023 at the county clerk's recorder's office and the state clearinghouse under SCH number 2023-070391, and a copy is included in attachment 4 of the staff report. Subsequent project refinements don't change eligibility, therefore the prior CEQA determination still applies. For the reasons presented today and provided in the staff report, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution conditionally approving the project. Myself, the applicant, and their team are available for questions. I have a suggested motion on the next slide, but I will stop screen sharing for the discussion.
Thank you for running us through the report. I'm going to begin with questions from the committee to city staff.
I have some questions. You showed an image, the second image where you had balconies. Can you go back to that image?
Oh, you can do it? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
That one. Yes,
These-
so I
these
see
street sign-
balconies to the right that are under windows and not doors. How did those units access those balconies?
If the brown part right here, that's projecting out, so the door is perpendicular.
About the other ones.
Are we talking
I-
these ones right here? Right. So the door is over here.
Why isn't it on the rendering?
Oh,
I think it's not visible from that angle.
I think there's the wood or brown section is proud of the light of the tan, and then the door to those balconies is on the elevation you can't see on the side. Does that make sense? On the side?
So how much further does that balcony extend to accommodate that door?
I believe the balconies are about, they project about 6 feet, or they are in a 6-foot recess, rather.
So that, I see.
On figure 4, you can see how the balconies are excuse me, reached by doors that come out from the side of the projection rather than the windows.
Yes.
yeah. The architect, Laura Heron, is also on the Zoom call, so we could get more clarification from her.
Okay. Let's just, do you want to pause
So I have
on that
another
and ask
question.
all
No,
your
I have
questions?
another question. How tall are our ladder trucks in the city of Eureka for fires? Will they accommodate that rooftop, which is 7 floors up, and go over on top of that for a fire, especially in light of what happened in Arcata in the past week?
Our fire chief is comfortable with new buildings. He said, he'd be comfortable having his kids in the top floor of a new building, just with building codes and sprinkling. It's the old
Do
buildings.
the ladder trucks go up 7 stories is my question.
I don't know. The fire chief will be here soon for a management team, so we can grab him and he can talk to us. But yeah, he reviewed this. He received a referral on this project and had no issues.
Thank you.
It's the old buildings that are scary for fire reasons.
I do have some questions and maybe some clarification points. In the elevations, we're showing a different type of stone material than what's shown in the rendering. So I want to seek clarification on what the intent is for that material, because I find that the flat elevations are more attractive than the rendering itself, with that large scale stone. Question about the green wall. What's the backup plan if that fails? We've seen this on a project before with downtown, and it did fail, and they ended up having to remove the structure and the green wall and replace it with something else.
Part of the requirements for the living wall is to include it in the landscape plan, which one of the requirements for the landscape plan is a long-term maintenance plan and irrigation built in, and also what will be done if the plants die, like a schedule for, how would you say it? Like a plan for replacement.
Okay, and how is that enforced to stay in alignment with the volume of landscaping that they're
I would
expected
say
to
it's
have on this
complaint
project?
driven.
Complaint driven?
Yeah, I mean, if the city doesn't notice it, but someone notices it, they would tell us. Or if we noticed it, then we could bring it up.
Okay, and the large, expansive green stucco, I'd like to understand.
Yeah, I believe
Why?
that's supposed to be a mural there.
Oh,
Uh,
it's called out in the plans as stucco paint green.
Oh,
TBD.
never mind. The mural's right
are
next
you
to it.
looking
You're right.
at figure 4?
I'm looking at the construction documents.
It's the west elevation facing the interior of the lot. I think also their intention is that lot could be built next door to them. It's a vacant lot. It was the old, what's the building the Floyd building. So I think they designed it with the intention of another building potentially going back up there. That's why there's no windows. Big solid walls.
Okay. I had another question. Maybe a comment. I appreciate very much that the children's courtyard is on the south side of the building. That is a positive. I am concerned about the amount of stucco for this building in our climate. It is proven to not be the most successful material. So if it were me, I would suggest that more of the fiber cement or a different type of material be used in lieu of stucco. We also don't have trades here for stucco, so you have to get that support from further out of our community. I had another question, but I lost it, so I'm going to open it up to the rest of the committee for questions or comments. Go ahead.
I have a couple questions, and it may be of staff or the architect. It doesn't really make any difference. Was there any consideration to minimizing the impact of the size of this building? For example, all the windows are vertical, and there's really no horizontal lines at all. And if windows were, some of them or all of them were horizontal, it would pull down the height of this. I've driven by, if you go back to page 5 of 15, where it shows the corner of 5th and D. It's in the staff report. You'll see that corner is massive.
You're talking about the image right before the background section. So we're looking at the corner of D in the alley and not 5th and D.
Well, it says housing development, 5th and D Street.
Well, yes, yeah. I'm. If we're here, let's see if I can.
I'm
pull
looking
up
at
the
this one
stuff.
here.
Yes,
Yes,
that
correct.
view, the angle that
That's the alley to the right, and then to the left is D Street. Just clarifying that.
What do you call right and left?
So you see how it looks like there's a podium, and you could. That's where the parking is to the alley.
Because this doesn't have any northeast.
Yeah. So this is the. That's the alley. This is D Street, and over here is Fifth Street.
Okay. It's still massive. And that's where I'm looking at all the vertical lines and no horizontal lines. And if you look around the neighborhood at all, the buildings have variation in them. And I don't see that variation here at all. And maybe what you're saying is the alley is going to have eventually more units constructed on it. But this is something that's on Highway 101. 1.6 million people or something come through Eureka every summer to look at the redwoods. And what are they going to see as a scene in Eureka that's compatible with the Victorian neighborhood that we have? Comment. Excuse me. And I'm also would like to ask about the rock facade, if there has been any consideration, and I'm also concerned about the greenery wall. But the rock facade, where there doesn't, it just, again, a walking landscape. Yes, the roof are the mountains on top of it, that peaked roof,
Sawtooth.
emulating mountains that are folding because of we live in a seismic hazard area. There's your answer right there. He just came in. So the facade that you're going to see is just this solid wall of rock. I mean, if it's landscape that we see around here, there would be like a meandering stream through it or something like that. And I'm sure the architect is listening and thinking, oh, wait, no, I didn't think of that. But anyway, something to break up that wall. And then I'm extremely concerned about the greenery wall. We have a very challenging climate. High winds, freezing temperatures, snow, rain. I taught climatology, meteorology for 40 years, and I would be challenged to find some kind of greenery that hung on that wall that would survive. I'm challenged at home, and I don't live very far from here. It's a really hard thing to do. So anyway, whether that's staff questions or architect questions, that's my concerns. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bruce.
What is behind the greenery? Is it a surface that if
Yeah,
the
is it like
greenery
a-
didn't grow,
A
could be
metal
taken off?
metal trellis, or
Yeah.
what's the structure?
Yes, I'm curious. If it
It's
failed,
going to be
what's
similar to the 7th and Myrtle project where they're supposed to have a landscaped wall. And right now it's like metal slats because it hasn't grown in yet.
there? Okay, well, that
That's
doesn't
the
look
concern,
terrible, so-
right? It's
Yeah.
like you're getting credit for a green wall, but yet the green wall doesn't exist after the project's built.
In
Right.
this case, they're not seeking credit for the green wall. It's not used as one of the architectural features.
But isn't
needs-
it used to break up a blank wall?
I think it might not. There might
It
be,
might not be 10 by 10.
It might not be 10 by 10, and if it were, they would qualify. They qualified for the density bonus exemption to that.
Here's the image of where that living wall is.
We're not seeing what you're seeing.
No,
right
that's
there.
correct. It's
Oh.
That is the trellis.
yes.
Oh, that's what's underneath.
What's the material?
You said aluminum type cladding, some sort
I'm-
of trellis cladding.
not certain. They didn't give me all the details.
We'd need to ask the applicant.
Yeah, should we get the architect online to answer these questions yet? Are you ready?
We
Chair,
can. I
could
see
we-
that
yeah.
Chief is arrived, and we probably shouldn't waste his time. So, Chief Citro, if you don't mind addressing the committee, we'd appreciate it.
Sure. So what's the concern?
The question. Yeah, there's a question.
I asked a question about the height of this building, including the would be the seventh story. What's the height of that, and what's the height of your ladder trucks?
So our ladder truck is a 100-foot aerial ladder truck. We have two of them. 7 stories. Yes, we will not be able to fully reach the roof, but that is not necessary because the building is built to full updated fire code. So there is no ladder truck constructed that can reach 7 stories in anywhere in the United States or anywhere else. So as long as it's built to the current fire code with sprinklers and the proper exiting, which it is and has gone through, will go through our review at the fire department, there's no reason to be concerned with the height of the building itself.
What if the sprinklers fail?
Well, the sprinkler system, the way they're constructed, they're separate from any other water system. They're isolated. They are not going to be in any way attached to the domestic or the service for the commercial service. They're on their own, separate. They're not. There's no shutoff other than what we have that's accessed. The shutoffs have to be locked. Those types of things. They have alarms on them, so if they're tampered with, we're notified through the alarm company.
And Tim, you guys inspect these buildings.
And we inspect them annually. We require 6 months service tests on all the sprinkler systems. I don't foresee any issues with this brand new sprinkler system failing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The building is, the top of roof is 72 feet. Do you consider that high rise in our municipal
The
code?
max or the height is 69 feet, I believe.
The zoning district, the maximum height is 100 feet.
100 feet
Or
for
downtown
high
west
rise?
is 80 feet.
In downtown.
No, we're in
Downtown west.
Because that's 80 feet in downtown
80 feet
west.
and down, so it is under, okay, that threshold. Thank you for clarifying that. I knew there were different heights in different areas. Thanks. Okay.
Is there another building in downtown Eureka that's over 69 feet?
I'd probably say the courthouse. The Humboldt County Courthouse. It's at least 5-6 stories.
Do you know the height of it?
No.
So we don't know if this might be the tallest building in Eureka.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay. I think we're ready to ask questions of the applicant's agent.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Laura, are you on Zoom? Derek, can you unmute her, please?
I didn't catch her name.
You've been unmuted, Laura.
Laura. Hi, Laura. Good morning. I'm sure you've been hopefully tracking all our questions and comments.
think so.
If you need us to repeat any of them,
Sure.
please let me know.
Okay. Would it be all right if I share my screen?
Yeah, I think if they can.
Derek, can you allow Laura to share her screen, please?
He said you are good to go.
All right. Let me pull it up here. All right. So what I have open is actually a more recent structural set. You can see
Hold
all
on,
the-
Laura. Let's get it on the big screen.
Okay.
Derek needs to switch it over. Okay. Yep, that worked. Thank you.
Yes, we can see Blue Beam now.
Great. Lovely blue beam. All right. So what I have on the screen is actually a more recent. We've been working diligently to get the project moving forward towards submitting for building permit. So there's additional information in this project list you can see that was not submitted, but I think for the reference of some of the questions, it would be easier than referring to drawings that were submitted previously. So I think one of the first questions I'd like to address was the question on access to balconies. So on the level 2 plan here, you can see that what you would have seen in the elevation from the east side would not have shown the door, which is coming from the side on these larger units. Do you guys want any more clarification on that?
I think that resolves that question. Yes, thank you.
Sure. I think I can elaborate a little bit on some of the concerns about fire safety. I think the fire department representative answered a majority of them. I think something that might be additionally useful to acknowledge is that the fire pump system is on a backup generator. That's also something that improves the fire safety of the buildings. Also something that this type of construction and this height of construction requires is fire safety both between units as well as corridors and exterior walls. So there's additional layers of fire safety that would not have been in older code additions. Our life safety plans and all those kinds of items will actually outline those once we submit for permit. We have a lots of fire safety accessible or assembly types, and as well as like a project code analysis noting all of the items. I will switch to the main elevation sheet. I want to note, I think that the building is definitely a tall building, but technically by code it is a 1-story entirely non-combustible first floor podium with 5 stories of residential. So technically it's a 6-story building, but it does have access to the roof. So I think I just wanted to clarify what we were looking at in that respect. Some of the other things that I can clarify. So this is the north elevation. On the south elevation, which is the one that is along 5th Street, behind the substructure of the twining trellis area for the vines is going to be the lap siding. It's a vertical V-groove. It's sort of a higher end of the James Hardie non-combustible product.
Laura, how is that trellis attached? Is there a gap between the siding, or is it directly attached?
There would be a space held off. We are still in the process of working through the details on this.
Okay.
Working towards our bid set.
Thank you.
But that has been considered, and I think it's a product that's made by a mainstream manufacturer. It's not going to be a one-off built-in-place structure for the twining vines.
I asked the question because around town, well, specifically like the Safeway, they had attached like redwood directly to the stucco siding, and you just see the material just like as it starts to weather, and then it drips, kind of a off color down the siding. And so it's just nice to know if something is standoff so that you have less opportunity for that type of I guess I don't want to use the word failure, but
Staining.
Staining of of different
Incompatible.
materials on the building facade.
Yeah, we would definitely want to create air circulation between the two systems. That's really important for drying of the wall system, as well as just for the health of the plants.
Yeah.
Again, this would be twining vines, so they won't actually have roots at the location of the vine, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Not like an English ivy that would attach itself. And the plan is to have it grow up from below and down from above. And I believe, again, the system is being designed in the moment. There may be some interstitial planting areas, but those would mostly be at the bottom and at the top for service. And that's where the root systems would be controlled.
Thank you. I think Bruce had a follow-up question.
Yeah, I have a question on that view there. I know it was stated earlier that this is going to be a blank wall or and a mural there, but the green that's on the furthest left-hand side of that, is that greenery as well? Is that just a shading of the color of the wall next to the mural?
I think that's the stucco that the green stucco that we were referring to earlier that Cassidy had a question about.
Yeah,
fine.
Laura, they're wondering about the green, not the living wall, but your green, painted green stucco wall we're seeing there on the west elevation facing the interior of the lot. Laura, you're accidentally muted.
Thank you. I was trying to add something in the chat. I guess I'm muted, right? Okay. All right. Okay, so yes, this is shown currently as stucco. I don't believe that there is a strong need for it to be stucco versus lap siding. This building is right against, as discussed, right against a property that may have a building built right against the property line. I think we can look into consideration and detailing of stucco in this case. This is, I believe, the way that the building is, the materials are added to the building, that this is reminiscent of, it's a circulation, so it's the elevator tower, and so green was attached at circulation points. Oh, that's a section. So I think it was just, it's a matter of making it somewhat different besides just painting it something different, but I believe that would be open. I think at this point, it might also be worthwhile noting one of the comments before about the building and how the elevation is fairly vertical, and there is not a lot of additional articulation at the floor levels or reference to Victorian architecture. That was intentional, not necessarily the vertical part, but it was intentional to reduce ornamentation, since this is a building built for the Wiyot peoples, which would not have had additional ornamentation. So we're trying to keep things as streamlined and as close to the design and inspiration of some of the traditional buildings, using color tones, paint on the non-combustible siding that would reference fresh cut redwood or dried driftwood. The elevation for the river rock, I think renderings are always a little bit different onto what you're going to see in a rendering versus what the final will be. The scale of the river rock is supposed to interpret for the rivers in the region, the Wiyot tribal areas. And so we would be using, native color reference stone in the cultured stone veneer. So there are lots of options. The colors that are shown here are for graphic representation, but not necessarily final representation.
So Laura, is it going to be more of the earth tone browns or more of the grayscale?
I think, ultimately as the owner's representative, the design team, the owner is the one who's going to choose from manufacturers' available colors. My guess is with the palette, it would probably be a little bit more subdued than what's seen with the golden tones in this. It's probably a little bit more of the the rock of the region.
Good.
I don't know if it's something that the planning department reviews final materials like on a material board, or what the process is later, but these are not final colors.
Okay. It'd be good to get a better understanding of that, considering our purview is the aesthetics and the design. That's what this committee is tasked with. So to have a better understanding of what the materials are actually going to be would be extremely helpful to kind of refine during this meeting.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think you mentioned before the view where the mural is, the building is on the property line?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's show a site plan here.
There's that adjacent lot from the building that was tore down.
I'm asking because there's landscaping outside the building, those plants, and if it's on the property line, then the landscaping's in the alley.
It looks like there's a setback.
The landscaping is not crossing the property line. The building it's not built out to the edge.
Okay.
There's a few feet.
So I was wrong saying it was built right on the property line.
Thank you.
Yes, the landscape itself is against the adjacent edge. During the design process, it was discussed thoroughly with the owner and the future contractor about concerns about the, the touching or the use of the adjacent property. And so there was concerns that it would be good both for light and air, and perhaps future complications during construction to pull the mass of the actual residential building back from the property line.
If I may add, in the design review code section under the scope of design review, it does say the review authority may not consider exterior building colors or other color choices included as part of a proposed project. So,
Understood. But we're talking about, she mentioned stone that's vernacular to our region, that's respectful of the culture and the identity of the people. And so that is an important feature of this building. So when you're seeing rounded, earth tone rock versus, in the flat elevations, you're seeing a nod to a color that is more of this region. I'd like to have clarification on what that's going to be.
got it.
Okay.
At this time, I do not have product information that I can share about the colors that would be used. It is something that we could follow up with later.
Yeah, I would just add that, yeah, it would be nice to see something that was kind of colored to our regional rock, which is gray with some, reds and greens mixed in, but predominantly more of a gray scale color.
Sure.
It,
I think,
honestly, the flat elevations are far more attractive than the 3D rendering, in my opinion. And that's why I keep asking the question. Like the tones, the colors, they're far better off in the flat elevation than that 3D view that we're seeing on the screen right now.
Okay. I should note that the river rock texture was the preference of the owner. And that goes back to also the surrounding of the rock around the traditional building forms. That's how we articulated our first floor, referencing that design inspiration. The scale and the color is what's up for discussion. So I appreciate the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for Laura?
Yes, Laura, you mentioned that this is all connected to a generator. So how big is this generator for the 41 units plus childcare and everything else?
I don't have the wattage on that. That's one of our consultants does that. I don't know. Does anyone else from my team have that information? You guys could put it in our online offline, or I guess not the city chat, and I could respond to it. It is sized for the building. I believe the generator does the elevator, the fire sprinkler system, and then my understanding is that most of the common space lighting and any sort of emergency sort of items would be also on that generator.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks. I appreciate being able to share and represent the project.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my other screen. Okay, we've concluded questions of staff, questions of the applicant, and at this point in time, I will open it up to a public hearing. Anyone in the audience or on the call today is able to address the committee. You'll have 3 minutes to do so, and you'll just have to state your name and city of residence for the record, please. And I'll start with the audience if there's anyone in the room that would like to speak. I think,
Tom Wheeler, City of Eureka resident. I urge you to approve the design as presented. I think it's a smart, handsome building. I think it's going to add considerably to the benefit of our city. Also, I'm unsure in which the Design Review Committee can include considerations of things like ladder height and fire safety, as these are objective design standards provided in city code. So I believe it's outside of the discretionary review of Design Review Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenny Carswell, City of Eureka. One concern that I see, and I think it'd be a kind of a major safety concern, the exemption for the 65% transparency there on the corner, and actually this facade is a good one to look at. At the very least, on the corner, the right corner to the playground area, turning left from D Street onto Highway 101 there is going to be a bear. So just something for consideration when they're reviewing that exemption. So thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Hi,
Good morning.
Jessica Gomez, City of Eureka. I just had something I was curious about from the required findings slide. It said the proposed development will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare. And I was just curious what methodology was used to evaluate that, specifically in relation to surrounding context and safety. I know the name of the development translates to where the families are, but I do feel like that's a little bit disconnected from the reality of the situation. I mean, it's in between Highway 101 North and South. So I'm just wondering how that is being evaluated for safety for families. I mean, there's 6 parking spots for 41 units. People are gonna be parking across the street. Kids walking anywhere are gonna have to cross Highway 101 North or South. So yeah, I just was curious how that was considered. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience this morning wish to speak? Yes, no? Okay, I'll go to folks on the call, which I can't see if they're...
Colin Fisk has his hand up first. But
Okay.
If anybody else would like to speak in the public comment, please just raise your hand and we'll
Okay.
unmute you when it's your turn.
Okay.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
wait.
Colin.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is Colin Fisk with CRTP, the Coalition for Responsible Transportation Priorities. I am speaking on behalf of CRTP's more than 800 members and supporters in Eureka and throughout the region. As you know, we are big supporters of the project, even more so since it's being designed and built by the Wiyot tribe. Although it is outside the scope of design review, I do want to briefly address the issue of safety that was raised by another commenter and say, whether this project, regardless of this project, absolutely safety on 4th and 5th Streets needs to be addressed. And we continue to advocate for that and hope that the City of Eureka will partner with us in that endeavor. But regarding the project before you, we think it's a big point of pride that Eureka has selected the Wiyot tribe to build much needed affordable homes in the area where they're most needed, where residents have the ability and the freedom to access jobs and services and education by any mode of transportation that they choose or are able to use. And we think it'll be a beautiful addition to the downtown area. Frankly, also that no people are better suited to determine the appropriate aesthetic and design for community development than the Wiyot people who have lived here and stewarded the land since time immemorial. So we encourage you to approve and move this project forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Anyone else on the call?
There's no other hands raised, so.
No other hands raised? Okay. Yes? We have someone from the audience.
Yeah, hi, my name's Chris Larson, City of Eureka. I'm also a neighbor. I live and work on this exact same block. My business is North Coast Audio, so we're going to be looking to have them as our neighbors. Overall, I'm supportive of the project. I'm very concerned about the height. I do think the height of the building sticks out for the rest of the area. again, I want to stress I'm mostly for this project, but it does, the name is, this is where the businesses are, including my own, and how I feed and support my family. I know the parking issues have been just beaten to death and attacked horribly, but I am scared to death about the lack of parking. As I left today to come to this meeting, the parking lot where that sits is completely full. And just so you know, the empty lot next door is owned by Mr. Arkley, and his people, I assume, will be parking there, which is good, but there's still not enough parking for all of the businesses that surround this property. This is in the middle of downtown Eureka. This is in the middle of a commercial district. Every single space around it is a commercial or retail property. My business has been a retail location there since the 1930s. I'm wondering from the city of Eureka, are they going to continue to keep this a 2-hour parking? Is that going to be enforced? Obviously, most of these people are going to have cars. I would love to see our public transportation improved so that everyone can drive cars, but it's not feasible for business. My customers aren't going to be putting an 85-inch TV on a bus. I don't think anything was ever addressed for the concerns of the businesses around the area, and that's my biggest problem with it. Again, I want to see it built. I really don't like the idea of 6 stories. It's just going to stick out. I am concerned as well about similar concerns you have about what people see as they drive on 101. Most of the building, I think, looks pretty nice. This is considerably different than what was presented last year during a public presentation that I attended. But I think the improvements are pretty cool. One last question I have for the landscape design. Are there going to be any trees on 5th Street? Right now, we, through the tree program, we put 6 trees already on this street. I'd really like to see some more trees there. That's probably my only request that I think is feasible for you guys. So anyway, that's all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Is the tree program still alive and well? Yes. Yeah? Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Good. All right. Anyone else? No one in the audience? No hands on the call. Okay. I will close the public hearing and I'll bring it back to the committee for further discussion.
I just want to clarify that safety is in our purview, correct?
The intent of the police power of the city, like how we derive our ability to zone and to have a zoning code, is to protect the health, safety, and welfare. So that is a finding for every single one of our permits. When we're talking about design review, we're talking about being limited to looking at aesthetics. So we're thinking about health, safety, and welfare in the perspective of thinking about aesthetics of the street-facing facade.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. In response to the concern about the corner, and I realize this is not in our purview, I'm told quite often by other committee members here that I'm talking about things that are not in our purview. But Chico and other cities have a parking restriction as to the size of the vehicles. I know we have this reduction away from the corners, but Chico doesn't permit the huge pickups that so many people love to drive, and I'm not sure why, but and that helps with turning. When I come, if I'm driving, there's pickups parked on 6th. I can't see around 6th. You know, they're parked not even at the 20-foot setback or whatever it is, because they haven't expanded out into that area, and 6th is not 5th and 4th. And so I'm challenged by that. And I'm also challenged by the children's playground, that potentially things are going to be thrown out into the street or the alleys or something like that. I mean, children do those kind of things. They kick the ball, they jump up and down, they run after their ball. So, I mean, I understand your concerns, and we certainly all have those concerns as well. So I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add? Okay. All right. I guess we could put the motion up. Or can we just pause on the findings real quick? Sorry. Just so I can refresh my memory there. Yeah, thank you.
Materials is a finding, so I don't
sorry?
think materials is part of the findings. So I
Findings.
think it's, if you're thinking of a condition related to the stone, I think that is in your purview for sure.
I cannot get that. I'm sorry, I just need to look at one more thing. I just need a refresher of the site plan, but my whatever this device here is not loading. I don't know if there's I just want to look at that.
Yeah, if I can
that
exit
corner
out
and
of
see
the
if there's a setback.
Tarek, if you can allow me to exit out of the
Oh,
presentation
there
so
we
I
go.
can change the slides without clicking 100 times.
It loaded. Sheet A100
here,
is the
thank
site
you.
plan. It looks like there's kind of a bulb out on that corner.
Which you wanted the site plan, a site plan or an elevation?
Yeah, I want to follow through with the comment and the question about the visibility at D and Fifth Street to make sure that it is in fact safe.
There we go.
Because it appears that the corner of the building is set back, and then they're showing kind of a rounded, what I'm assuming, curb out in front of that.
Here's the first floor, but it's not the entire.
Can
site.
you go to the applicant submitted materials
Yeah.
on sheet A100? There's a full site plan, and maybe that might help. We're losing Bruce.
Pulling up now. Just give me another minute.
We're losing Bruce, so I think we have to take a pause to be in alignment with our.
You still have a quorum, unless you want to take a pause.
Well, I guess we'll let you pull up the.
Yep, I'm getting it
sheet
pulled up now.
until we get Bruce back.
Okay, site plan.
There we go. So if you pull up to, I'm assuming the kind of rounded corner on the bottom right is the curb,
Yeah, the sidewalk.
sidewalk and curb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can see, well, I can barely see. The building is set back from the property line a few feet there. And we still have the length of the crosswalk on the south. Is there improvement on that corner to help with the visibility as far as the hardscape goes?
So I believe 5th Street is going north. So
Yeah.
D Street, you would be turning left and not right because
you
it's
have
a
to
one
look
way.
right
Correct. You're correct. Yes.
to see the traffic. So I just wanted to make sure that we all see that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe in front of the play area, and we could have the architect come on, but it's my understanding that there might be a pullout, like they would keep it as a red zone or a loading zone. Maybe Laura wants to pop on. I thought I remember discussions about that. And then certainly the curbs, you can't park within 20 feet of the intersection.
So you'd maintain the visibility.
Yeah, but you're right. It's challenging on all the downtown streets to see.
Hi, I have a note. I believe the site plan that was submitted has both that first floor architectural site plan, but also 2 additional civil drawings following it. I don't know if that was included, but that shows that the width of the width of the sidewalk is approximately 12 feet back from the property line on both sides before you hit the curb.
Okay, thank you.
Thought that might be useful.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to address it. It came up a few times in the public comment. I wanted to make sure that we could look at that in more detail.
Sure. And one other note, the comment I believe was about open windows, basically to be able to see through the building to try to see if there is somebody maybe coming around that corner. As you noted, the building is pulled back from the corner, and there is large amounts of glazing in that particular 5th and D corner. The corner that's more solid is on the childcare area, which is again the privacy and safety of the children was concerned. And that's why it's a little bit more enclosed there to try to help their focus during the school day. So just referencing what's open, what's closed, and the setback with the sidewalk.
Oh, Laura, I did remember my question from earlier. Now that we were talking about children, I see that there's a horizontal fence. I've designed a few children's centers in my career, and we've always done vertical. And I appreciate the horizontal fence because I really do like it, but it creates a climbing feature for the children, and it's a safety issue. So just consider that in the design and development of this.
Yes, a climbable fence will not be allowed. We will not
Okay,
have one.
great. Well, the
We have
horizontal
multiple people on
rails are fun and exciting for children, so I just want to make sure we didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have multiple people on our design team with small children. We are
Great.
ready to jump on that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. I think we have more clarity on the corner and the intersection now. Thank you for bringing that up. And we can go back to our findings slide just as a reminder, and then we can transition. I think we can get back to my agenda. So frustrating. There it is. Okay, findings, CEQA. Is everybody good? You reviewed that again? Okay. All right.
Good.
Sorry. Good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. I guess next slide. Okay. Any further comments or questions? Or a motion to approve? Or a motion with conditions is also acceptable as well. Okay, well, I would put a couple of conditions on this as far as just ensuring that the building materials are actually reflective of the WIOT and respectful of that. I think we had a good discussion about stucco, the stone veneer, and probably would like to see a reduction in that stucco material. I find the fiberboard to be in alignment. It's a modern day material, but I understand that it reflects, the wood and the tone and the characteristics of our area. And so those would be my biggest comments to this committee about, the materiality of this and being reflective. I appreciate that there are, numerous roof lines. I think that on the larger structure kind of help break up the scale of the building. Flat roofs in our community or in our area definitely do have issues with rain over time, and so I like to see some articulation in that manner. So I appreciate that element of the project in the mix of materials. So those are my closing comments.
Chair, you can make the motion if you want. some chairs don't like to, but
I usually leave it up to committee first, but I'll check in again. Do we have a motion, or if not this one, then a modification of this motion? Okay. I'll make one to move us along here. So I move the Design Review Committee adopt a resolution conditionally approving the design review and density bonus for the Wiyot housing development at 5th and D Street, with the conditions as I mentioned in my comments prior about the materiality actually reflecting the Wiyot and being respectful of that. There was a lot of good comments today that I think that the applicant should take into consideration as they continue to develop the construction documents for this project. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we will have a
Chair, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on your condition? Is it a recommendation that they, take into consideration everything that was said today, or is there a specific requirement now that they add less, they substitute some stucco
I
with?
don't think that stucco is as reflective as materials of the Wiyot, but I am not a specialist in that, and so I don't want to overstep in that.
I mean, yeah, stucco just doesn't perform well here.
No, it doesn't.
It's meant for the desert.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I guess we could encourage them to use less of it, just as a long-term maintenance issue. But
it's nice to see like the wood cladding on, or the wood, or the
vertical hardy, or
the hardy, it's reflected on a couple of the sides, but it really falls off when you look at that west elevation, and we don't know how long the community will be viewing that west elevation before another building gets placed next to it. So pulling in some of that materiality from the other primary facades would be more suitable on that west area. So if the big green mass could be hardy to mimic it would be the east side of the building where that section pops out, I think that would be more attractive.
So when we revise, if this gets adopted and we revise the resolution, should we write it as these are recommendations, or should we write it as this is a requirement?
I think we can only do a recommendation because we don't have purview on that side because it's not street facing.
Is that true?
Right.
Okay, it's a recommendation. A very big recommendation.
A strong recommendation.
A strong recommendation.
Greatly encouraged.
Very much encouraged. I mean, just the longevity and the maintenance of this building, I think that is going to serve them better.
And then the stone, is that a recommendation or
recommendation is to be in alignment with the vernacular stone of our area as close as possible. I mean, when you are selecting from a manufacturer, they're not necessarily going to have Mad River rock, or they're not going to have rock from our region necessarily. But if we are truly trying to be respectful of the materiality of this building and of the Wiyot tribe, then it needs to.
I'm sure they could find a color palette that's closer.
I would hope.
Than
I would
what's
hope so.
rendered, at least. But.
It's got some 1960s kind of vibe going right now that doesn't feel right. And I love the 1960s, don't get me wrong, but there's time and place for it.
So the recommendation is on the stucco not to use it, and then the requirement is to make sure that they match as closely to local river rock as possible, the vernacular, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So somewhat, or guess I revised my motion to be reflective of, or to be more clear on the recommendations and conditions. So I'll need a second on that.
Second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay. We have a motion and a second, and the committee will now vote.
Committee Member Severson,
No.
Committee Member Browning,
No.
Committee Member Cameron,
Aye.
and Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
So that ties us, but doesn't.
It's a motion fail.
It's a denial because of the bylaws. It says a tie counts as a denial. So
Okay. Is there an alternate motion that this committee would like to make, or are we prepared to have this fail? Next step would be Planning Commission, and I don't know if our recommendations from Design Review would be transferred to Planning Commission. I'd like to hope so, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I mean, we'd certainly tell them in the staff report that was the first motion. It was included in it.
Okay. Anybody else have a suggested motion?
Well, my suggestion and what I would vote for would be required rather than recommended for the things that you mentioned.
It sounds like I can't require them.
We can require the rock, I think, but we can't require the stucco because it's not on the side that we have purview on.
it sounded like the applicant was amenable to changing the stucco. We might ask Laura if they just want to propose that change.
Okay. Laura, if you're still on, because I can't see you. Okay. Would you be amendable to that requirement?
The requirement of changing stucco areas
The-
to
the-
hardyboard siding?
Specifically the mass of green stucco that's being demonstrated on the west facade.
Yes. Yeah, we can definitely change that to a horizontal lap siding. Painted in the same manner, I don't know that would appear different from the street.
Okay.
The one note, we do have stucco on the mural area, considering the best type of surface for someone to apply paint to, something more smooth, rather than a V groove or a lap siding. So that is one area that would probably be preferred to be kept as stucco.
Okay.
But
Are
we
you-
could look into panels or something instead.
Yeah. Are you doing that as a precast product or as a applied in the field?
It's applied in the field,
Okay.
I believe.
I could get on board with that. I think there's just, we need a material change on this west facade, but I don't. How do you feel? How do you feel about? You're okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Charlie horse, and I just had to move him, and I didn't hear exactly what you said. I'm used to sitting this long.
It's all good. The requirement would be, if I amended my motion, the requirement would be that where the green stucco exists, that we have them change that out as the hardy to match the hardy that's being used on the east elevation, where they have the pop out and it's that brown section. Maintaining stucco in the area where they intend to put the mural, whether that be a precast or stucco applied in the field. And the river rock would be required to be in alignment with local stone or river rock materials. Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the slide that's up right now, going back to the hardy conversation, that the green tower of stucco would be replaced with same color scheme and orientation of hardy with the darker brown to break up all the tan.
Clarification.
Yeah.
So you're asking not just for the material change, but also for a color change? The green is part of the sort of moss palette of the forest. I'm wanting clarification. I don't know that it matters.
Okay.
globally. Is
I guess I
asking.
don't know if I can
I don't
do
think
a
we're
color
allowed
anymore.
to. Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to change.
Okay.
colors.
Material change.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I misspoke on the color. I just really like that color. But understand. Okay. Good. Okay. I will amend my motion to make it required to change out the green stucco area for a hardy board and the requirement of the stone being in alignment with local material rock in some capacity. Okay, so that's my amended motion to the original motion that I presented. Do we have a second? I don't have a second yet.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and the committee will vote.
Committee Member Severson.
Aye.
Committee Member Browning.
No?
Committee Member Cameron.
Aye.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to all who participated in our public hearing today. We appreciate your presence, both in person and online. All right, that takes us to item G, old business, which there is none. Under item H, we have a couple items of new business. The first being Chuck Ellsworth resolution of service. I was hoping that Chuck would be with us today so that I could read this. So if possible, I'd like to table this to another meeting where he could attend.
Yeah, and if there's any modifications to the resolution, we can make them between
Okay.
now and then. If you guys have ideas for how to make it more personal to Chuck.
Okay. That's actually also a great idea because I honestly didn't have time to review it before the meeting. Okay. I'll spend some more time with that. All right, that takes us to item H2, which is the 2026 Inland Zoning Code update. This is for the design standards and design review and oh my gosh, let me start over. 2026 Inland Zoning Code update, design standards and design review, and the recommendation is to receive a report. And I will stop talking.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm sensing, just some, we're all kind of tired after that whole thing. So we could always, there is another design review meeting this month. If we don't have time to fully discuss this now, we can continue it to your next meeting.
We could just do a cliff note of like maybe what we're going to review at the next one. Because maybe that would be well received to just
hear a
table it to the next-
presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is about a code update we're working on. And for a variety of reasons discussed in the memo that was in your agenda, we're proposing a change to how we do design review for new buildings, similar to how we do design review for signs. Mm-hmm. We would have the ability, if a project met all objective standards, it would be approved administratively. If the project applicant couldn't or didn't want to follow the standards of the code, they could come in, similar to how they can come in now for a creative or master sign permit to deviate from standards. And in that case, the standard of review would be whether they met the intent of the code standards. So each set of design elements in the code has intent statements in front of them, and those would turn into the standard of review if somebody wanted to deviate. And then parallel to that, we're working to strengthen the objective standards of the code. And so we've hired Ben Noble, who's going to be presenting today. He's on the call. He started by doing a code diagnostic and looking at, do we cover all the topics? One big thing we realized we didn't cover is large site development, which is rare in Eureka, but when it happens, it's a big deal. And then he also looked at the subjective design review criteria and thought through, what kind of objective standards might help address those criteria. So for instance, neighborhood compatibility, we're thinking about shading of neighboring properties and massing, and those sort of things can help try to address that subjective idea of neighborhood compatibility. There's a reason design review has always been subjective, because it is hard to hit these ideas with objective standards. But it's something that pretty much every city and county in California is doing now. The project we just heard, they could have come to us and just gotten administrative approval through SB 35. The reason they didn't was because it's our property, and so we have a DDA with them, and they had to come to design review. But if it wasn't our property, they could have come in, and they would have, if they met our objective standards, we would have had to approve their project administratively within 60 days. So really, the local control now is at the stage of writing the code standards and constructing the rules, not project by project through discretionary review, at least not for housing projects. And so Ben is going to present some of these key design standard updates, and we're going to ask for your feedback as design professionals about these new and modified design standards. And I have to note, there are a lot of design-related standards in the code that are not in these like buildings facade standards and site design standards that we're reviewing today. For instance, the parking section of the code, actually, I think the 2019 update, the parking access and placement standards, which require the building to be sited at the corner and the parking to be behind, have affected design more than anything else, really, in terms of our standards. But that's in the parking section. So I just wanted to flag that we're hitting on a few chapters, but there are definitely other chapters, like the landscaping chapter, that are pretty significant too. And I'm always happy for comments on any of our standards, especially from design professionals such as yourselves, because I do not have a background in building and designing buildings. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate Ben, and I'm going to hand it off to Ben now.
All right.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to do a time check with the committee this morning.
Sure.
No?
It's 10:30.
I do too.
Okay. Can we table this? I appreciate the introduction to it. I think if I could give homework to the committee to read through the memo, the attachments under this section, come back, informed and prepared for the next meeting. Is that okay? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I know you have Ben on the call. Ben, I apologize.
I think
I want to give this the time that it deserves. Honestly.
I think it was helpful for Ben to hear the WeOut Tribe project.
Okay.
I'm definitely rethinking our living wall provision right now. Yeah. So our next meeting is the 26th.
Okay.
Right, Raylene? No, 28th. Wednesday, the 28th of January.
28th. And do we want to also confirm that Chuck can be here that day, or do we want to take...
I mean, if
yes, please.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we could check in with him, that would be fantastic. When we could table these two items.
Get me any comments you want added to the resolution, so that we have. So if he's going to be there, we have a finalized resolution that we can
Okay.
print and have presented to him, if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Thank you. And we would just send those via email from any one committee member can do that. Okay. All right. So homework: review the resolution of service and review the attachments here in our agenda for the inland zoning code, and be prepared to have a good facilitated conversation with Ben in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Sounds good.
Don't run out of here yet, because I have to do all the other formal items. Okay, so officially we are tabling the two items under new business for our next meeting. Item I is a pre-application review, which we have none. And item J is director's reports and communications. Anything from staff today? No. Okay. Item K, other reports and communications, nothing there, but we do have, I'm sorry. Item K, other reports and communications would be from committee. Anything from committee?
I'm not sure where this comes in, but Raylene knows that I won't be at the next 2 meetings,
Okay.
but I'm available via Zoom. It's for a medical reason, and I won't even be in town. But if we need a quorum, and I'm certainly willing to participate without any problem at all.
That reminds me that there's been a large update to the Brown Act having to do with presence at meetings and virtual presence. So I'm getting a presentation from that tonight at Planning Commission from our city attorney, and I'll let you all know if there's like the highlights of it afterwards. I can send out an email.
Yeah, I thought there were some provisions in it. Well, at least prior. I don't know what the updates are. So, okay. Good to know. Anything else from the committee?
I have something.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is for Caitlin. I'm wondering why Commissioner Ellsworth did not get an oath of office and Cassidy did.
Yeah, maybe Director Kenyon wants to elaborate, but it's my understanding that the mayor did not reappoint Chuck.
And what is the reason for that?
The mayor has been wanting to allow new folks on the committees and commissions just to allow other people to represent the city. So she's making this choice broadly with various committees and commissions.
So she deemed that Cassidy was worthy and Chuck wasn't after 15 years of service?
I saw her letter and it was just thanking him. So it didn't have any sort of justification in it. So I would recommend asking the mayor directly.
Have any of you been in communication about this regarding Cassidy or Chuck with the mayor?
Not directly with the mayor, no.
Any sort of communication at all?
Not directly with the mayor, no. The city clerk is the one who we talked to about the committee and commission appointments, and then her and the city manager talk with the mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else from the committee? All right, item L is our oral communications. This section of the meeting provides committee members and the public an opportunity to address the design review committee on any subject not appearing on the agenda. We wouldn't take any action on anything addressed to us today in this section, but there's nobody left in the audience, so if there's anyone on the call that wants to address the committee, now's your opportunity. No hands. Okay, then with that, I will adjourn our meeting. Thank you all.